Fund development is perhaps the most difficult area of school management to plan for, and yet it is the area that needs planning the most. The temptation is to say, well, we'll do the best we can and see what happens. But given the importance of developed funds, that's just not good enough. Hi, I'm Jack Peterson with Managing for Mission. Managing for Mission specializes in administrative and governance consulting for faith-based schools. I realize there are many unpredictable elements in development, but rather than being an argument against having a development plan, it's actually a reason for being even more intentional about our goals and how we intend to accomplish them. A written development plan will provide focus to the development staff. It will widen the circle of those who can be involved, and it gives the president and the board a meaningful way to evaluate progress. When I ask schools about their development plan, what they often show me looks more like a calendar of events and appeals and how much they are expecting from each. The schools often feel these events and appeals are maxed out, and the only way to increase revenue is to add another. I don't want to denigrate this approach, but I think we can do better. To reach its full development potential, the school must tap into the giving capacity of its donors and prospective donors. The question must shift from how much can this event or activity raise for us to how much could our donors give if properly asked. In an earlier tutorial, I presented the 5 requisites for development success: case, prospects, asks, askers, and resources. Focusing on these 5 elements of the fundraising process will help us shift away from event-centric development to donor-centric development. Events and appeals reach a point of diminishing returns as we try to involve more and more people in what are mostly small transactions. We call this event-centric fundraising. Schools need to move toward realizing the aggregate giving capacity of those who support or would support them. We call this donor-centric fundraising. Managing for Mission has developed a template for formulating a donor-centric development plan. We offer you this template, which can be downloaded from our website, to lead the board, the administration, the development staff, and the development committee through a process for creating a collaborative plan for reaching the school's full development capacity. In the first section of the template, you will focus on the first of the 5 essentials, the case for support. Clearly, success depends on making a compelling case for supporting the school. A case is a value proposition in which the donors will see how their funds will be used. They need to see how they will benefit the school, its students, society at large, and the donors themselves. The case for support is based on the mission and the strategic plan the school has formulated to accomplish that mission. It should be expressed in visionary and outcome-based language, but it also needs to identify the major elements of the school's plan. I recommend including operational needs as well as those major needs that might be sought in a capital campaign, so the school can see the whole funding picture. The case statement will take different forms, adapted to the various kinds of asks and the marketing materials needed to support them. But this section of the development plan will serve as a source for shaping all versions of the case statement. In the next section, you will focus on the second of the 5 requisites, prospects. Funding the school's plans will require a few donors making large gifts and many other donors giving at various levels. Not all will give at the level we hope. They may have other priorities or financial constraints, or simply aren't used to giving yet. So the pool of potential donors must be significantly larger than the number of gifts we hope to receive. The template shows how to build a gift table indicating how many donors, giving at what levels, will be needed to raise a certain amount of money. Often, filling in this table will itself provide the first glimpse of the feasibility of the school's goals. The third essential for development success is asks. That we need to make enough asks to achieve our goals might seem so obvious it's not worth mentioning. But for many schools, maybe most, it is the Achilles heel. Too few asks are being made in the right way. There are 4 rights to a meaningful ask. asking for the right purpose, at the right amount, in the right way, by the right person. Events and appeals are ways of asking, and they will always remain part of a complete development plan. But they can't be the only ways, because they generally do not move donors toward their full giving potential. This section of the development plan will help the school identify the best ways for asking top potential donors. It helps us determine where events will fit into that strategy, and it lays out how we will track the process from identification to research to cultivation to asking to follow-up. The fourth essential for success is askers, people to do the asking. Again, events like auctions and annual giving appeals are ways of asking, but to realize the full potential of those who have the most potential, we need to ask them directly in the right way described earlier. This section will help us determine what role school leadership and staff will play and what role volunteers will play. And it helps us identify the training and support that will be necessary to make these askers successful. The final essential is resources. What investment will the school have to make to be successful? The big items are salaries, technology, consultants, publications, donor recognition, events and entertainment, and travel costs. After the 5 requisites, the plan has a section called Key Next Steps. This is important because the complexity and long-term nature of the plan can tempt us to stay in the abstract. But the point of planning is not to plan, it's to act. So this section is updated constantly to tell us what we need to be doing now in order to end up where the plan is pointing us. If you'd like a copy of our development plan template, you can email me at the address at the end of this video. You might also want to visit our website at managingformission.com, where you'll find other resources for school development and governance and administrative issues. And thanks for all your efforts to make sure your school has the resources it needs to accomplish its mission. It's a gift not only to your students, but to the world that your school serves.